Hello. Okay. I'm live. Back. I'm back. Live again. Let me just mute myself. Okay. All done. And sorry I'm a bit late, but let me just post a few invites. Okay. Uh, let's do this. Okay. And yay, let's see. Let me just open up my channel. So, okay, see. Okay, so live, and then let's do okay Instagram live. Oh, I haven't done. Yes. Welcome, 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 everyone. Okay, I'm back at IG Live and YouTube Live. Let me just call a few people in the YouTube, and then we're good to go, and then continue our discussion for tonight. I have a very very good discussion. Okay, let's see. Okay, and ooh, not showing in here. I have to use this. Okay, and then let's do this. Okay, oops, sorry, share videos. Yeah, Alin, ini. Let's see. Okay. Anyway, all done. Let's continue now. Okay. So hello everyone. Once again, sorry, my name is Christopher E. Chris E. I'm from Sydney, Australia. I'm actually I'm an accountant by trade. I'm a business coach. Also, I I'm a tax agent. So by trade, I deal with numbers all the time, and I help people to understand the numbers, of which are fascinating for me. Numbers really fascinating for me. So tonight, if I can say so, I would like to continue what I've discussed previously. I think about 7 weeks ago about this book, the continuation of this, uh, the workbook that I'm doing. So the book called The Consistency Pill by Simon Chan. So hopefully if Simon watching, Simon can see, I hope that he doesn't mind. I'm just sharing what I've learned from his book and by doing the workbook also. So I'm doing it with live, sharing live for my workbook, what I've done, what I'm doing right now. So yeah. So hopefully you guys can see and have the benefits by learning together, by seeing it, what I've done and how I feel about it, what my experience so far. And yeah, it's not always easy. Life, or life gets in the way, and sometimes that can be hard also. But I really wanted to encourage everyone to continue doing the activities that will bring you to your goals, to your visions. So be consistent in doing it. Be consistent in in knowing where you want to go and what activities that will bring you there. And that's something that I want to educate everyone every time, because knowing where you want to go but you don't know where, how to do it, and you don't do the actions or the activities that will get you there, you will not get there also. I'm not saying that the vision that you have is not real or not achievable, but as I discussed also in my other videos, a few weeks ago, regarding the foundation of being an entrepreneur, maybe the foundation needs to be fixed first, needs to be not fixed, reviewed, right? So thus, I'm hoping by tonight, when I continue sharing about this book and continue uh, of the education that I want to share, of my learning, of what I've learned about consistency, is, being a valuable lessons also that you guys can learn. So I hope that you can join me in tonight's lesson. So tonight's lesson is a continuation of what we've learned about the the book Consistency Pills. And in the last one, we discussed the first two chapters and the summary of it and the action plan that I need to do, of which, the chapter 1 we discussed that the one thing that every business leaders agree on is consistency. The word consistency is very important, because without consistency we will not achieve anything. It's in itself, consistency is actually something that is actually common sense and logical, but sometimes, or most of the time, people ignore this. And sometimes it makes it hard for people to see that the reason most of the time that they fail was because they are not consistent in doing activities towards the things that they want to actually achieve. For example, if you want to be a programmer, you have to learn coding and do coding itself. But problem is when you learn, problem is when you start to learn the coding, maybe it's good, in the, in the beginning. But then when you start to hit a hurdles, what do you do? Do you stop or do you continue? Do you stop? Do you quit? Or you try to find solutions and keep doing it? So this is the thing. The activities for the activities that you keep doing the coding over and over again, learning the coding, reading the books, finding the, solutions and trying to solve it. So keep doing it will make you better. And that's what I've learned. And in chapter 2, in business, people buy your 3 C's. People buy your change, your commitment, and consistency. So this is what I found, that we need to understand that the experience that you have and the transformation, if we can say it, right? The transformation that you experience, that's the one that people, most of the time, it's not, i'm not saying that I'm not saying that you cannot convince people by your words. No, I'm not. Some people have a charisma to actually do that. Some people have the confidence level so high that they can do that. But the problem with that is people will know that it's fake. The most powerful tools that we can is by having the transformation itself. And having the transformation is the best tool to actually convince other people. And that's from my point of view, is the one thing that I've learned here. So when we try to sell something to people, we need to have that transformation itself in our, transformation in ourselves first. So people will need to see your change, your commitment, and your consistency. So if you want people to look at you as an expert in a certain things, you will need to be consistent in doing those things. So thus people will see you as that person. So that's lesson number 2. Now, in lesson number 3, which is a short chapter, sorry, not lesson number 3. In chapter number 3, is a short chapter, but in here, so now we're continuing, right? So that's last. The previous one is until chapter 2. Now, chapter 3 is now. This is the lesson, the continuation. So let's now deal with this. In chapter 3, it's a short chapter. It's about how Simon started to have success, how he built it, and the importance of him consistently doing the things that he needs to do, the activities that he needs to do during his spare time, for example, in lunchtime, things like that. And sometimes it doesn't have to be the big big change, or a big steps. Can be a small steps. And thus this is where we have to understand, this is what I learned, that yes, nobody is born consistent or successful. And achieving visions require actions, requires effort and consistent effort. And the process to achieve the visions or your goals and experiencing failures and success all together, that's what combining the whole thing become a successful journey. Now all this process, the process in itself require consistency, and this is why it's actually important. And in the workbook, the action step was to reflect and think back of to what is your turning point in my business or career. First of all, when I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetic, which is back in 2000, sometime in 2018. And when I remember at that time, when the doctor told me that I am a type 2 diabetic, I can see in my mind so vividly about my daughter, my second child, my daughter growing up, and then on her wedding. And my heart sank at that time, thinking that I cannot be there for her. That really hurts me because I know diabetic can cause a lot of diseases. The main thing is heart, but it can also cause blindness. And seeing myself in my mind that I cannot be there for my children hurt me, pains me a lot. But the good thing about that experience is the reaction that I have to change, that I have to change my mindset about lifestyle, about my health. I have the strong desire now. I'm not saying a perfectly, executed lifestyle or change in that right, in that sense, but I know that I was changed because of this experience. And I am grateful for that because that changed my mindset, the way I think about life, the way I think about health, the way I think about exercise. And I think that's really is the turning point in my life, in my business, that although I need to work long hours, my health is also important. So, so that's my number one turning point in my business and in my life, if I can say so. And the next action step in the workbook is what is the one time during your hectic schedule that you can commit to doing what's important for your business. what I'm planning to do now, right now, is creating a short, either a live, IG live, or story, reel during my night walk every day. And I don't know whether recording it first so then I can post it to YouTube story or YouTube shorts or IG reel or story. But I'll see what I can do. But I think I will try to actually record my what I'm thinking or what I'm learning. uh Maybe, for example, if I walk for 15 minutes, I learn about, I listen to podcast for maybe 15 minutes. Sorry, if I walk 15 minutes, I maybe, listen to books for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then talk something about what I've learned in there. So that's my plan in, in that. So, and I think it's doable. If I'm doing it for 30 minutes walking, then I'll do maybe 10 minutes to 15 minutes, in, while walking, listening to audiobooks, and then 15 minutes, the next 15 minutes while walking, doing the recording to record what I've learned from what I've heard or read. Okay, so that's what chapter 3 is all about. So chapter 3 is all about starting starting your actions, starting your activity, whatever it is you started. And the next one is chapter 4, is talking about how we can keep our mind, that usually, when things goes down or going south, how can then you keep your mindset straight and have that confidence to still do the things that you need to do. I'm not saying right now I'm perfect in this, to be honest, because sometimes, yes, when it's now winter time now in Australia, so there is always reason for me not to walk out. And there is rain outside in Sydney right now. There's so many rain, almost raining every day. And thus, it's so cold, so cozy at home, just in front of computer. Although my room also, where I am right now, is basically quite cold, but it is what it is. But sometimes, staying at home in this winter season, starting going into winter, it's so hard, makes it hard for me. How do you do that? How do you go past that comfort zone? You always act the way you see yourself. So first we need to let go of the past. If we felt previously like, I wish I keep continuing the consistency habits, walking, for 2 hours and things like that. But coming back here in to Australia after doing that in 2022, that, stop. But I cannot, I cannot dwell in that. So I need to let go of that. I need to let go of the past that, I stopped. Yesterday is history, today is a mystery, and tomorrow is your legacy. So we need to understand that your future is not determined by your past. What we do today will determine your future, but only if you start doing it every day, consistently. So bury the past pains and failures with new mental images of your future success. Change the vision of yourself by seeing yourself as your best future self, and you will start acting that way. Thoughts lead to words, and words lead to action. Be careful of the words you say to yourself. But before that, be careful with what you think about yourself. Because what you think about yourself will be reflected in the words you say. And in this chapter, there are a few steps that Simon shared, which is it's a very good mind tricks that we can learn. So first, you need to change the way you say about yourself. You need to start seeing yourself as a consistent person and say that to yourself throughout the day. So step 1, say to yourself throughout the day, I'm a consistent person. Step 2, find examples in your life where you are consistent. And then step 3, stop seeing yourself as struggling. And step 4, do one small thing each day that you didn't really want to do. Everyone has been successful at something in their lives. Remember your past successes. Adopt the mantra, I always find a way. Focus on activity instead of results. So this is where I found in the lessons is really good, that keep keep coming over and over again, and this really stuck in my mind. It's not about the result, it's about the activity. Focus on the activity, the result will come naturally. So I need to focus on the activity that will bring me to my goal, to my visions. So that's what I'm trying to focus now, that I am doing that way. And to have the mentality that I always find a way is actually a good mentality, it's a good mindset. Always say that to yourself. I always now, since I learned this from Simon, this is actually not a new tricks. When I was going to a seminar, from one of my motivational or business coaching client at the time, not the one that I coach. So this is actually a business coach that who are my client. In one of his seminar, he always given this kind of mantra, this kind of s- things, scripts that you need to say to yourself. I remember that he says, like all the things that you say to yourself or you're thinking about yourself when you're actually doubting yourself. For example, the mantra is, I heard you, I know you're there, but it's not going to affect me. And I'm doing better. And that's basically the same thing. We need to start forcing our brain and ourself and our mind to see the other way around, to see the opposite of what you're seeing right now. I know not as easy as just saying it. But once you start doing that, and I hope that by, by sharing this myself, right? And I really hope that once you hear this from this sharing, you can have like a jogger, memory jogger all the time. When something happened in your life, when an event happens in your life, and you start feeling doubt, I do really believe that these words will will come to you all the time now in your brain, that you will remember to always find a way, that you will always remember that you are a consistent person. Although life may not be perfect, you will find comforts in your successes in the past, and seeing yourself as that consistent person and that successful person, and seeing yourself as what your vision is. Although struggles come, we will find a way, that we will always focus on the activity that we can do towards our goal, towards our visions. So that's, I think that's the most incredible lessons that I take from here, from this chapter. It reminds me again, about how simple it is sometimes. Changing the way you think about yourself, changing the way you see yourself can actually change your life. Because when you change how you see yourself, you will change your words. And when you change your words, you will change your action. And when you change your actions, you will change your habits. And when your habit change, you will be the best person of you. When you be the best characters, the best personality that you can be, the better person that you can be, you will have your destiny. So that's the mind trick that this chapter is actually teaching me, and I'm really grateful for this. Sometimes, to be honest, I- I'm like you guys. Sometimes I question whether it will work, whether really, because if you just think about it, never really say it, or maybe you say it once or twice and never do that, nothing happens anyway. So I wonder sometimes, also, is it working? It is working. And I have to say to you, I rather try my best to actually have that belief than not at all. I rather have that thoughts And those words and those actions, changing my characters by keep doing that to become myself. I'd rather have that. And if it starts from me seeing differently about myself, seeing me to be the best person of myself, why not? There is one example that Simon gave in the books, which is really profound in that sense. It's simple, but I guess I will just, tell you. So there are two peoples. There are two people in a restaurant, and someone offer a cigarettes. The one person says, "Oh, no, thanks. I'm trying to quit." And the second person, "No, thanks. I'm not. I'm not a smoker." Only by those two sentences, the chances are even greater on the second person. Why? Because because he- that person doesn't see himself or herself as a smoker. Maybe it's a bit weird. Hey, Bu Mariska, how are you? This is the English session, yeah? Thanks for joining. Maybe it's a bit weird. Uh, we're discussing about the consistency pill, the book that I'm reading. So yeah, hope you like it. And later on, I'll be talking in Indo. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, how are you? Learn English here, Bu Mariska. Anyway, let's continue. So this is chapter 4 that I'm discussing of the book, and the workbook that I'm filling out. So yeah, so that's how I see, you know, the second person to have a better chances of being successful, of not, of quitting smoking. Why? Because he, the person keeps saying to him, to himself or herself that they are not, a smoker. Seeing himself or herself as not a smoker, and then keep saying it and action it, will make it better, will make the chances become greater. Because by saying it out loud, there is the accountability that suddenly you you're posing to yourself. So that's something that, you know we can learn from that. So this is where, seeing yourself as the person that you want to be is, I think, is much 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 better. For me, seeing myself as a successful, a confident person, a great leader, that I can be a blessing for a lot of people to become successful, to become a blessing for a lot of people, a lot of leaders, a lot of entrepreneurs, changing their lives. by changing myself first. That is a wonderful mindset to have. So that's that's wonderful. So the action step now, before we can have that positive mindset, we need to understand and aware first of our self-limiting thoughts. So the action step is be aware of our self-limiting thoughts. What is the one thing we've said to ourselves in the past that doesn't help you? For me, when I built my accountancy practice, it's a small practice. Until now, it is still a boutique practice. I keep saying to myself that I'm no one. I'm not a successful entrepreneur. I don't have $1 million practice. I don't have a mansion. I don't drive a good car. I'm not a successful person. And thus, nobody will listen to me. And that's what I keep saying to myself over and over again. And even create jealousy in me when I see someone else that I know starting the same, having, same business in accountancy, and then suddenly drove a Mercedes, or, a luxury car. Sometimes that creates friction in myself, a self pity in myself because of that. And I know this is not helping me to achieve what I want. So first we need to be aware of that, and I'm aware of that because sometimes that's my struggle. Doing IG live or YouTube live, sharing my experience, sharing my knowledge. I always think to myself, this is what this is what the war zone is like, in my mind, in my brain. I'm fighting that often. And that's a self-limiting thoughts. And I know that doesn't help me. I'm aware of that. And the second action step, what are three things you're consistent in your life? For example, maybe you're making dinner consistently, cleaning the house, etc., every day, consistently, every week, or things like that. I can say now I am consistent in night walking. That's first. I am consistent doing IG and YouTube live every week. And the third thing is I'm consistent in doing my ministry in my church every week. Not because lack of resources, although that's one, but I know this is part of me giving back. Part of me giving back in my spiritual being. As a spiritual being, I want to give back by ministering and helping at the church, at my church, my local church. So that's the three things that I am consistent until now. The third action step, list out 10 successes you've had in your life. I try to actually figure out, wow, 10 things. That's that's quite a lot. But I come up, I think, I'm grateful for all this experience that I have. And the three things, the 10 successes I had in my life. First, I remember, when I first get out and have my own practice license, and I am grateful to be able to experience closing a 30K per annum client. Although, so that's, although this is maybe a small things for certain businesses, but this is a big one for me when I first started. It's just a way of, I believe God just showed me that He is the provider. He is the provider in my business. And I'm happy and I'm grateful for these successes. So getting a 30K per annum client. And then the second thing is being paid 12K per annum for the Entrepreneur's Roadmap program. At that time, it was called the Business Roadmap. The third thing is seeing a client build six figures business through the term coaching, the Entrepreneur's Roadmap coaching. Seeing a client building up these businesses from scratch until now becoming a six figures business and growing. And the fourth thing is being a six figures business myself. And that's a success for me. Being a six figures business, a lot of people saying, a lot of the successful people saying is your first milestone is the seven figure business, the $1 million business. I don't think so. The first milestone is the six figure business. Because a lot of the time, when we go into business, we usually just want to replace our job. And on average, in Australia, it's a five-figure business. It's a five-figure income. And thus, achieving a six figure business is the first step, the first milestone also. And I consider myself grateful. I'm grateful that I have achieved that now. And the fifth things, being there for every events of my children at school. I remember with my son, I'm glad that I can be when he did his performance in schools, and with my daughter I can do the same thing. And the sixth thing is mending my relationship with my son. It will be another story that when my son's growing up through the teenage periods, I have a breakdown relationship with him. But I'm grateful that I am mending that relationship. And this is one of the things that I felt really vulnerable in the sense of I see myself as a failure before when I have that breakdown. But again, by changing my thoughts about my relationship with my son and applying it consistently, although it's not perfect, but consistently doing it, I am happy to say that I'm mending my relationship with my son. And that's a success, a big success for me. And the seventh thing that I'm successful is competing, not competing, completing the certification of John Maxwell Leadership Team. So I am now a certified John Maxwell Leadership Team. And being the eighth thing is being the John Maxwell Leadership Disc Consultant, being certified in that also. And the ninth thing is being Well Dynamics Certified Consultant. Now, this is, you know, probably you guys will ask, what is Well Dynamics? This maybe everyone knows. That's a personality test, you know, program that we can do. It's a paid test, and there are a free test out there. But with this, it's more focused on the leadership. With John Maxwell leadership, the disc task is more on the focus on the leadership and business side. So that's the disc. But the Well Dynamics is another personality task created uh, by Roger Hamilton, of which I found it really applicable and practical and really useful for entrepreneurs, especially those in business, those in life. Basically, yeah, it's it's useful, very very much useful, and I'm glad that I can finish this and become the certified consultant of this. And the last one is in my network marketing business. I have achieved the sales master target 2 times and semi sales master about 4 times. So that's a success for me. And I think, when I started doing this list down of the 10 successes, it creates confidence in myself. And I think we need to start seeing this way. We need to actually record all the successes also. Not about, not to boast about it, but to build the confidence in ourselves that you are successful people. You are a successful person in many different way in life. You experience successes every now and then, everywhere, in every you know aspect of your life. Note that and record that and memorize that. That will create a different mindset to you. And I'm glad, when I'm reading this now again, I am truly grateful for all this experience. And the next action step, the last action step of this chapter, is start building up your consistency muscle by doing one small thing that takes less than 5 minutes that you can do every day starting today. What can you commit to? So I put two things here, which is posting a short live IG reels or YouTube shorts every day while night walking at least 5 to 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So that's the lesson I've learned on this uh, on these two chapters. So there will be more parts that I will be learning during the year that I will be sharing. Count me on that. And hopefully that you guys can enjoy the process and can be blessed by following my journey. I hope we can do a book club also, or a lesson together, doing this workbook together also at some point. But I'm happy to do it myself and then sharing it with you guys. I know that you guys are there for me also. By sharing this with you guys, I know that you guys are going along in my journey towards my visions. That I, my vision is world's prosperity through entrepreneurs' educations, with a mission of helping and assisting and creating 100,000 successful people by by them changing their life to the better of what they can be, whether it's actually personal or financially, in every aspect of their will of life. So hope you guys enjoy and bless by tonight's lesson, and you guys can focus on activity that will bring you to your success, to your visions. And always have that mindset that you are that person. You are consistent person. You are your visions. So thank you so much for listening and following my journey. Again, the replay will be up in YouTube straight away. So you guys can see that straight away in YouTube. And the YouTube uh, link can be found in my bio. Just check in the bio. And if anyone wants to know more about the my program, the Entrepreneur's Roadmap, of which, to be honest, learning about the consistency pill, where does this consistency pills books and the strategy, is uh yeah, you can see that as a strategy, or the reading, the lessons that you've learned here, where does that falls into the framework? This actually falls into the milestone number 2, which is strategy. And later on in the books, in the consistency pill, there will be also milestone number 4, which is system, and then milestone number 5, which is implementation. So you will see that it does, the framework is there, the lesson is there, and that will cover parts of different, this book cover many different parts of the framework of the entrepreneur's roadmap. So I'm grateful for that. So if you want to learn more about the entrepreneur's roadmap, you can direct message me or send me a message in YouTube or in Instagram or Facebook. Yep. So thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate. My name is Christopher Emmanuel, or people call me Chris E, from Sydney, Australia. From Natuk 12s, I'm grateful to share my journey with you. Live life to the fullest and expect success and God's favor all the time. See ya. Bye bye.